tried talking in those.
I have no desire to hop into a Twitter space, to be honest. You just do something like this instead.
The leg itches.
I mean, I guess it's cool because you could pull like any random person from your audience in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like hosting a panel on stage, and you could just ask questions from the audience. But I don't know. I don't care for the Twitter Spaces. Instagram does a similar thing too, where if you're like live streaming on Instagram, people who are watching, you can pull them in. That one's weird too, because they do like a split feed where like the other person's camera can come up. Yeah.
GOG among the first to offer menstrual leave to employees. You get like a week off every month.
If that's the case, I mean, I might start being sexist and not hiring women.
Man.
Sounds like I'm losing money over it.
Yeah. Well, now men can menstruate, so.
That is true. Yeah. So now they're forcing us to be both sexist and transphobic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, green is the only thing that actually talks.
How does that even work?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
You just roll it into normal sick leave. Like, if you were literally feeling too much discomfort to come and work, which I know sometimes women with their menstrual cycles do feel so much discomfort that they can't do anything, wouldn't that just qualify under normal sick leave? I feel like if you need to put that in, it just means that your sick leave policy is already broken and needs to be fixed.
I mean, you know, my company, I guess, effectively offers that in that, you know, basically you can take time off anytime you want.
Yeah.
You just have to, the only problem with it is you have to tell your supervisor 2 weeks in advance, but
yeah, I mean, that's what sick leave's for, right? Because it's like an emergency leave. Like, I didn't know this was coming.
Yeah.
If sick leave does not already encompass menstrual leave, then I feel like that's just a bigger problem with how sick leave works than having to add an additional topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took off. I took off yesterday, so I should have had enough sleep.
You'd hope, yeah.
Before today, but
hey, we're here now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I was surprised as hell because, I mean, I stayed up late watching Ricada last night, but then I went to bed at like 3 a.m. And slept, and then like fell asleep again at like noonish, I guess, and then apparently slept for like 6 hours.
No, I'm surprised because usually Saturday is not the day I have to bother you.
I know.
That's usually the day you show up without having to be told.
I know. I was surprised as hell. I was kind of like, as I was kind of waking up, I was like, oh, I hope it's not. And then I kind of noticed that it was getting dark.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. And then I saw your text and I was like, oh shit. How did I sleep like 6 hours?
I know, because we haven't ran a show for like the last 2 weeks almost.
I know.
I hope you guys have missed us. Welcome to the Vomitorium episode, I don't know, 136, 7. I'm not even keeping track anymore. It's somewhere on there. I've got the number written down. Should say so on the actual page. But as always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing today?
Great. Well rested, I guess.
I'd hope so. I would hope so. I'm not so well rested. I got up earlier than planned to mow the lawn, and then weather conditions have deemed that I'm not mowing the lawn until like Monday or Tuesday, because it's just going to rain and it's just going to get higher and higher as well, and I might as well just cut it all at once.
Yeah. Well, I hired someone to make me a VTuber avatar. For my live streams. I just need to figure out what kind of it's gonna be a kangaroo, but
I thought you were gonna go with a wallaby.
They're basically the same. Wallaby's just like a miniature.
Yeah.
Yeah, a miniature kangaroo.
Be like a chibi kangaroo.
Yeah, I just have to figure out what he's going to wear because I don't know if I want to just wear like a t-shirt or I don't know. I watch Baka Matai
Yeah.
AU on Twitch, and she has like these, I don't know what you call them, these really complicated looking outfits.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly what it needs to wear, right? It needs to have a loose-fitting Letterman jacket of whatever colors you find appropriate, and needs to have a cigarette in his mouth.
Okay.
There you go. Maybe a
what,
baseball
like a
cap
t-shirt,
with like holes for the ears.
like a t-shirt underneath, or
No, just open. He's a wallaby. He doesn't actually need a t-shirt on.
just the jacket?
Just a jacket. It would look nice.
Yeah, I thought about putting my company logo, Blackgate Games, on it on the shirt.
Yeah, well, see, if you had a Letterman jacket, you
that
could
on
just
there.
right there on one side.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think
try
it
that.
would look
She's
nice,
waiting.
yeah.
She's waiting to hear back from me. I can't. Unfortunately, I can't afford to. Since I just paid my taxes, I was like, well, I'll have to wait until my next paycheck before I,
Yeah.
pay you to do this. But hopefully by the end of next week, I'll get paid again, and then I can tell her what I want on the shirt. But yeah.
And I'll take a snapshot of whatever your avatar looks like, and I'll replace the old little picture that's sitting there on the loading screen.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a full body thing, but you can obviously crop it.
Yeah.
Wherever you want.
It's gonna be tiny anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see what we got to talk about. I had to go back and I had everything ready like I normally do, and then I closed it out because I figured we weren't gonna have the show today. So I had to pull up my history and look. That looked like a link that I was using, and I have a bunch of shit up. Some of this from the last couple weeks since we haven't been doing shows, just things I remembered I kind of want to talk about, this disgusting new Mountain Dew flavor.
Oh no.
That people are saying is the official drink of hell. Even Mountain Dew is you want to come to hell with us? Well, you're in luck. Mountain Dew Flamin' Hot is becoming the official drink of Hell, Michigan. Now, I didn't even know that Mountain Dew had a flaming hot flavor, which I'm guessing is the flaming hot Cheetos or hot fries and stuff. And that sounds disgusting. Absolutely.
Well, what is with all these Coca-Cola flavors? Space flavor and pixel flavor.
I don't even know what pixel flavor is.
I know. What does space taste like? I don't understand.
Mostly nothing. Because
Yeah.
that's most of what space is, just mostly nothing. Some random bits of hydrogen floating out here and there, but it's about it.
Is it just distilled water, dyed brown? I don't know.
They just give you a can of air.
Yeah. Like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
You just. That's right. So what is this? It's hot, spicy,
Flaming
Mountain Dew?
hot. Yeah. It's a spicy version of the citrus flavor, which sounds better than what I was thinking, because when I think of Flamin' Hot, the only thing I think of are those really awful tasting Flamin' Hot Cheetos that are just there to burn your tongue. They're spicy, but they have no flavor to them.
Yeah. Weird.
Which I actually have. I just have an issue with the term spicy. I hate the term spicy because it doesn't make sense to some degree. And I think it's because our language, the English language, didn't naturally have a word for that sensation. A lot of other languages do, especially ones that their palate normally deals with it. India's got a word for it. China's got a word. Even Spanish has a word, right? It's caliente. Yeah, that's what it means. But so we just took our word for spice, since most of the things are made of spices, usually capsaicin, and use the word spicy for it. But equally, the way the language is constructed, spicy could mean something that's just full of spices.
Yeah. Well, what is wasabi? Is that spicy? It's not really.
Well, so no, wasabi is a type of mustard that is
Yeah.
kind of considered spicy, but it's just a strong, potent flavor. It's like somewhere between what we call spicy and sour.
Yeah, but they call spicy mustard spicy, but that's not really.
No, it's not.
It doesn't like burn your tongue. It just kind of.
It's an issue with the language, right? We just
Yeah.
don't have a different word for these two different things.
I always add Italian spices to my microwave pizza
Yeah.
to make it spicy, I guess, but it's not really spicy. It's not hot. It's just flavorful.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Pepper's kind of spicy in that way.
So, when you drink the Mountain Dew, does it burn your tongue? Is there
I have no clue.
is there an afterburn? I mean,
In fact, I probably never
Yeah.
plan on tasting this Mountain Dew ever
me neither.
because I hate
Don't mess
flaming
with-
hot Cheetos.
I love Mountain Dew and I love Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to mess with them. Although I will
citrus.
say, vanilla Dr. Pepper is fucking awesome.
Mm.
I love
Yes, it
that.
is. I do like vanilla Dr. Pepper.
Vanilla anything almost. Vanilla Coke.
Even though what's weird too is nothing that is vanilla flavored is actually flavored with vanilla.
Don't. I think I know what it's flavored with. And I don't want to talk about that.
No, I think you might be thinking of raspberry flavoring. I think that
What?
might be because the raspberry
No.
flavoring comes from an animal gland. That's probably the one you don't want to talk about.
In the Cult of Raven chat room, for a while there was some talk about vanilla, like artificial vanilla flavoring
Mm.
coming from a gland of
Maybe.
an animal.
It might be. I just know the
Maybe
one
that
most people
was-
think about is the beaver has a gland in its sphincter, and
That's
where
what they were talking about.
Oh, I think they're misplaced. That's raspberry flavoring.
Oh.
That's where that comes from. Yeah,
Joshua and his misinformation.
yeah, yeah,
The Cult of Raven has failed me.
yeah.
Oh well.
Well, that's okay. I'm still in it, so I'm here to.
Well, that's
redeem.
good. Okay, so what? Okay, so well, that's good. So
Yeah.
what is?
No, it's just vanilla is
what is
like
artificial
overly synthetic.
vanilla?
Like that's
Yeah.
it's almost nothing from the vanilla plant is in there anymore.
Right.
You know,
Right.
hasn't
I
been
guess
for a long time.
vanilla plant is hard to get. I guess or expensive.
Yeah, not really. It grows in very specific environments. So there's only like so many places in the U.S. you could grow it if you wanted to, and you'd have to uproot it because it's not natural to this area. It's one of those things where they would go all the way to like India and stuff to get vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it grows in abundance. It's not hard to grow. It just only grows in certain environments. And
But they
even then,
discovered-
people just wants the comforting flavor of vanilla. They don't even care if it's actually made of vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've discovered a chemical equivalent that's close enough.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's in most of our flavors, though. They use the term simulacrum. It's something that's close but not quite.
Hmm.
But that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
it,
fine
it
with
bothers
that.
me sometimes. It bothers me sometimes that we've lost certain things, like I mean, some you can get soda with actual sugar in it, but most of it is corn syrup and
Yeah.
and Oreos. Since they took out the trans fats,
Oh, yeah, there's no
don't
actual
taste
cream
the
in it.
same. Oreos, when I was a kid, tasted much better than they do now.
Even when I was a kid, right, which is a little bit after that, there was still cream in Oreos. At a certain point, you can feel when they took out the trans fat, they took out the cream because that's where the trans fat was
Yeah.
coming from. So it's no longer cookies and cream. It's just something, cookie and sugar.
It's oil. It's oily. Yeah, it's more oily, and the cookie isn't as crunchy.
Yeah.
So, well, gross. I'm not going to taste that. I'm not
Yeah,
going to try
it's
that. No.
completely gross. I don't want it. Ugh. Ugh. I figured that would
I
just
like
be a little
spicy
fun
things.
thing to start us off with.
Yeah, but I don't know about spicy drinks.
Yeah, because
I never
normally when
liked.
you eat spicy things, you want the drink to be the thing that can kind of counterbalance that.
Yeah, I never liked like Bloody Marys, like
Yeah.
early peppery Bloody Marys. I never thought vodka went with tomato juice very
No.
well, actually. Like I like screwdrivers and I like tomato juice, but I don't like Bloody Marys.
Well, they
Ugh.
thought because it rhymed, right? Potato, tomato, you put them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally non sequitur. But I've been playing some more Stardew Valley lately,
Oh, nice.
and it's funny. There's a request from Pam to make alcohol with potatoes, but using your kegs. But it doesn't come out as vodka. It comes out as potato juice.
That is
That's
interesting. Why don't you just buy vodka from the bar?
No, she wants you to make it for her for free, straight off the farm.
Straight off the
Never-
farm. That's interesting.
Everyone in Stardew is a total mooch.
They are. Yeah.
Did he give you stuff for free or give them stuff?
They're like the freaking all the animals in that one nursery fable about the chicken who's trying to like get everything together to bake a pie, and the only one's gonna help her are her chicks, and she keeps asking from everybody, but once the pie's done, everybody wants a slice. It's like, well, you could have helped.
Yeah. Well, but on the other hand, they do become close friends of yours just by you giving them things. So everyone there is very materialistic.
Yeah, you
They'll
think
marry you just from giving them, gems and flowers.
there should be like an experience thing, like very, very slow. You wouldn't even notice it building up compared to giving them gifts, because that's obviously a quicker way to get on somebody's good side. But just from like maybe talking to them once or twice a day after so many times has passed in the day, like maybe every 6 hours, there'd be like this little tiny point that goes up.
Well, your friendship does go up when you talk to people in Stardew.
Oh, I never
You
noticed
can
that.
you can only talk to people once a day, and it doesn't go up as much as if you give them an item that they love. But you can become 100% friendship with someone just from talking to them.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Because that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. I've noticed that because usually for almost the first year, I almost never. I don't usually give people very much in terms of gifts, just
Unless you're
because.
trying to court 'em.
Yeah, I'm trying to build up my farm, but I try to talk to most people every day, and your friendship does go up.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's good.
that's an interesting.
Because it's kind of real life, right? Like you be close to people and you'll develop friendship. But if you really want to get on somebody's good side fast, you just give them shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good life lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly food in real life, like
Yeah.
fine stuff, sure, but people are very animalistic and instinctual. And you give somebody food, it's
Yeah.
easy to get on their good side.
Well, to be honest, one of the first things I learned about Peach was that she liked Twinkies, and I sent her a box of Twinkies, and that apparently did the trick.
People like food. We need it to survive. Yeah. So, weird news. I completely forgot this was a thing. I thought I just kind of like disappeared. But the Dungeons and Dragons movie finally got an official title and a release date.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure you completely forgot it was a thing too, didn't you?
I thought you were going to say it was released, and I was like, oh, okay.
I would have been equally surprised.
Yeah.
But there is like a title trailer or title announcement or whatever it is. And it's called Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. As previously announced, it will have Chris Pine in it, Michelle Rodriguez, Regis-Jean Page. I'm assuming it's pronounced the French way.
Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Hugh Grant,
Grant.
Justice Smith, who was the main character in Detective Pikachu, the kid that had the Pikachu, and Sophia Lillis. So yeah, a decent cast. Probably going to be a horrible movie because I doubt the people who are making this have any respect for Dungeons and Dragons outside the fact it's like, oh look, we can just pull some fantasy tropes out of this and make another Lord of the Rings. But I mean, it might be okay. March 3rd, that's where we're getting it.
March 3rd next year.
Yeah. Well, obviously not March 3rd this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know there have been 3 other Dungeons and Dragons movies?
I only knew about 2. I think I missed one of them.
Let's see, the Jeremy Irons one from 2000.
Yes, the one that I actually enjoy watching because of the whole Thieves Gauntlet and stuff.
Yeah. There was one in 2005 called Wrath of the Dragon God.
Yes, that one was god awful.
Was that live action?
I think so.
Okay. I haven't seen any of these. And then there was the book of Vile Darkness,
I
2012.
have not seen that one.
I feel like that one was animated. Was it? I don't know. Maybe not.
I can't even say that the Jeremy Irons one was a good movie. I enjoy it, but I can't really say it's good. I don't think Dungeons and Dragons have had a good movie. I don't even know if Dungeons and Dragons has had good media since the old cartoon show.
It's even called Dungeons and Dragons 3,
Yeah.
the third one.
Oh, yeah, they were all supposed to have a through line. I think that's what made the 2005 one even more disappointing. I didn't hear about the third one, though.
You know what would make a good Dungeons and Dragons movie? If they just freaking turned the cartoon into a movie.
Yeah, or even if if you buy the campaigns, like the actual story ones that teach you the story, they come with prefabs, out of the box characters, right? They could literally just take the current system's campaign with the free prefab characters and just make a story off of that. Like, you don't even have to do that much writing at all. You just have to decide what the characters are going to do.
Hire a good dungeon master to come up with the story and then turn that into a movie.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, that's the whole point of the game is to come up with a story. The other thing,
just have,
to me,
I actually got it right. Just get the lead writer to be the dungeon master, and just have the entire writing team play the characters as they're writing.
There you go.
And then they can just condense that into an actual movie.
There's your movie. Only you'd have to be careful because, like, there's some, I would hire what's his name? The guy who went off to do Shroud. I can't even
Shadow
remember.
of the Demon Lord.
Shadow of the Demon Lord, yeah. Because he was a writer and he's a great dungeon master.
Yeah,
but he's not a Wizards of the Coast anymore. So.
This is Hollywood. I don't think
Robert
Wizard
Schwab
would care too much as long as there was a competent person that was going to get them money.
Yeah, I wonder what they would think. Oh, Robert Schwab is writing.
I wonder even how much of a cut they're going to be making out of this.
Yeah, I don't know. The other thing that I would do, but unfortunately, if it was done today, it would probably be ruined. Is the Dragonlance books? Like, they could totally adapt. There are 4 main Chronicles Dragonlance books, and they could make. And then, frankly, the 4th one is so big, they could make that into 2 movies if they could make all of them into 2 movies each. Frankly,
Yeah.
but,
Well, it's also like, some of my problem is I am probably not going to be interested if this movie is going to be going off of the new stuff, because I'm just not really a fan of the Forgotten Realms and everything they've been doing with 5e. Because a lot of people who don't pay attention, who haven't been playing each one, almost every single edition of D&D takes place in a different sphere, right? And they have names for it. So we've gone a long way since 1 and 2e of AD&D, which I think the only 2 that actually take place in the same sphere. 1e and 2e of AD&D took place in the same sphere. But then when we got to 3, that was in a different one. 4 was in a different sphere, and 5 is in a different sphere. So we've been in 4 different spheres officially, and then there's also some side stories that take place in different places. And for spheres, that's a world, right? Like a universe almost that's connected.
I thought they were all in the same. I mean, I thought Forgotten Realms was one sphere. Is that not true?
Yeah, it's a sphere of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5e doesn't take place in Forgotten Realms?
No, 5e is the Forgotten Realms. That's the one it's taking place in.
But like, it's been Forgotten Realms since first edition.
They've been retconning that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But they've been taking place in different spheres over and over again. And I don't like how they keep changing that. So I'm kind of just done.
So is it not the same world? I mean,
it kind of is, kind of isn't. They've got it's different geography.
No.
Yeah.
I don't pay that close attention.
You saw the map when I loaded it up with that one time that we were playing with Dillard and them.
Yeah, but I guess I wasn't very familiar with the original map or whatever. I'm only... I only really, even back in first edition, I never really liked the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
I just, I like Kryn and the Dragonlance world.
Yeah. All their side worlds are better, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the Kender rather than the halflings. They had more character, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was just me. And Draconians. I like the Draconians.
But so, I just assume that this is going to be taking place in the 5e version of the Forgotten Realms.
I guess.
Which is definitely not my favorite. Honor Among Thieves is the name of the frickin' movie. Yeah, that's it.
And is it a continuation? Is it basically...
I don't think so. I think it's just its own thing. Oh. I think it's a new. It doesn't have 4 next to it. It says film directed by Spider-Man Homecoming writers Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly.
It says they're in the Forgotten Realms and the Sword Coast.
Sword Coast. I know this, of course. I know where that is.
I mean, the Sword Coast has been in the Forgotten Realms forever.
Yeah.
So it's confusing that they keep changing things.
Yeah, it's actually so the Sword Coast used to be a West Coast.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. It's not anymore.
Like parallel worlds. It's like the Star Trek mirror universe. There's everything. There's the same names, but it's all slightly different.
Yeah. And there's some landmarks that are completely new. Like there are some new mountains that weren't there before.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Chris Pine. And Hugh Grant. Where the hell has he been?
I have no clue.
He was big like 20 years ago. Must be old by now.
I wonder how, because obviously they're going to have characters for this. I don't know if they're actually going to use canon characters, because for the most part, every time somebody makes a movie like this, they just don't give a shit about the story. Like they don't care about the source material or anything. So I'm wondering if they're even going to reflect classes at all, or even characters that exist in the world, or if they're just going to make up new characters that are just fantasy tropes.
Yeah,
because I could see Chris Pine playing a rogue in general. Like that would work for him, and it's Honor Among Thieves is the name. Just wonder if he's going to play an actual named rogue from the franchise.
Yeah, that just shocks me, because I think the last movie that I remember Hugh Grant being in was Love Actually, and that was 2003.
Yeah, probably.
I guess he's been doing television.
Yeah.
Her voice
Anyway, I'm
acting.
probably not going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, well, what's the let me see. What's the studio? Paramount?
Oh, I did not catch that.
It says Paramount. I was like thinking, okay, what streaming service is it going to come on first?
Oh, Paramount Plus, obviously.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Paramount
That's
Plus
all
hasn't been that bad. They don't have enough.
Yeah, I'm not paying for that.
But I think if you have Prime Video, you already have access to Paramount Plus.
Nope.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
You have to pay extra.
Okay. And then my
can-
mom is paying extra then. That's how I was watching it.
Yeah. It's annoying because it's like, it didn't used to be this way, but recently
It's becoming cable
go-
services.
it's become what?
They're becoming cable services. You're having to pay for additional plans, and you're eventually just rebuilding your cable bill.
Yeah, you go on Amazon and it's like, oh, here it is on Amazon. Oh, you have to own Paramount Plus to see this.
Yeah.
Or you have to own what's the like Shudder to look for horror movies, and it's like you have to have a paid subscription to Shudder
Yeah.
to watch this. Like, what's the point of Amazon if I can't, Amazon Prime? I can't watch anything. But I did see the Batman on HBO Max.
What'd you think of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh. It was so, like, everyone was like, ooh, it's a detective movie. It's a detective movie.
He's not
And
a
I'm
very
like,
good detective.
I know. And it's like, okay, yeah, it was a detective. It was, which basically meant that it was really slow and boring. And he didn't solve the clues very well.
No, because he basically, the spoilers, until the very last one, where he solved it unbelievably. Like, he should not have even had what he needed to solve that last puzzle. All the ones before that, the Riddler won. Like, he got everything he wanted each time. And it was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, it's like,
this doesn't feel like
they
that,
were like,
but-
well, it was kind of a weird dichotomy because it was like most of the puzzles, like, he solved instantly, but it didn't really tell him anything.
Yeah.
And then the important stuff he completely missed, and then ended up, totally getting screwed over because the Riddler basically won. And there was a how it should have ended that just came out this week. That was great. It was like, okay, he should have been able to solve that last one and foil the final plot. But of course, then the movie couldn't happen.
Yeah. Or, they could have just wrote the movie better.
Yeah.
No, that's another option.
Oh, this tool. What is this tool? Does anyone know? Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, you said, okay. I didn't want to spoil it for you.
No.
Yeah, when they brought out the murder weapon at the end, that was the key to everything. It was just like, why didn't anybody see that and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I know what that is.
Dude, I hate the characterization of almost everyone in it too. Like, it's some of those cases where if you took the name Batman off of it, some of these would be fine characters on their own. But the fact that they take place in a Batman world and some of them are based off of established Batman characters, it's just awful. Like, God. He literally just straight up told Alfred that Alfred wasn't his dad.
You're not my dad.
Yeah, it's like, try to act more emo, Bruce, please.
Yeah, really. And I kept expecting Alfred to talk in, Smeagol voice.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Still, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it particularly, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah. I think on Twitter I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. I felt the same about it as I felt about most of the Nolan trilogy, where it's like, on its own, if you were to remove Batman from it, it can be a pretty fine crime movie. But if you're actually putting it in the context of being Batman, it's just not a good Batman movie.
Yeah, I don't know about that Riddler. He was a little. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, what Riddler I liked is the one in Gotham. It was great. I thought that Riddler was great. Especially because he started out good. You know, he was working in the crime lab and everything. And he kind of went crazy.
Well, like, and I don't dislike the idea of like a Jigsaw type Riddler. I dislike the way they made him look. That was fucking stupid. But like in the Arkham games, he was basically a Jigsaw type character, but at no point did he lose the feeling of being a classic Riddler.
Yeah.
Like anybody making a Batman movie, especially because the Arkham games are based off of the Bruce Timm's cartoon in the first place. But anybody looking to make a Batman movie should just look at like Arkham Asylum and be like, this is how the character should act. This is how you should represent the characters. You could make a good movie out of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what bothered me was that Batman was so chummy with the police.
Yeah.
Not just Gordon, but everyone. I mean, they kind of were like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" "Oh, he's fine," and then they're like, "Oh, okay."
Then one guy's like, "Oh, don't want this vigilante on my crime scene."
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's really a vigilante, why aren't you trying to arrest him or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, because they know Batman would just break their arms or some stupid thing like that, you know?
Yeah. Plus, but the other thing was, again, about the police. Every scene that involved more than like 2 policemen, there were like 100 policemen. Like, why does there need to be every goddamn scene?
Grand Theft Auto over here.
I know. I'm like, why is he in a room with 50 police officers? I was like, oh my God, there's so many. Like, is this every police officer in the city is like here to see this arrest of Falcone?
Oh, no. Maybe in a single precinct or something, but Gotham's a big enough city that they probably have like over 1,000 police officers.
But these scenes with like 100 men in that tiny little room with Batman, and it's like, why are there so many people in this scene? It's crazy. Maybe they got a discount on extras or something.
Maybe.
You got all these police uniforms. What are you going to do with them?
Well, we could have a musical number. No. Well, then just shove them all in the same room with Batman.
Yeah. It's like kind of claustrophobic.
Yeah. So, you want to hear something disappointing, but we kind of knew it was coming. Was the official announcement, even though it's been rumored for a while, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is coming to WoW.
Why is that disappointing?
Well, because it kind of defeated the purpose of Classic. Right? It was like the whole problem with Burning Crusade in the first place, where like everybody was exciting for Classic, and even the first point, they weren't adding a shop or anything or the WoW tokens to it yet. But then they added that, and then they came out with Burning Crusade, and it's like there's no point to Classic. They're just having an excuse to resell you all the expansions again, basically. Yeah.
Well, but at least they do separate them, right?
They do. They're different servers. So you can still go back and play them. So you can play
the original with no expansions.
Yeah.
If you want. But yeah, that's a good question. Are they going to basically release all of the expansions eventually?
I guess eventually. I don't know.
A second time.
But apparently this is going to be even more old school than you remember, because they're sticking to it strictly only things that were available with Wrath of the Lich King, which what a lot of people might forget, there were many class changes in Wrath of the Lich King that also got reverted later on because people didn't like it, like the changes to cleric and stuff like that. So I don't know. There will probably be a dedicated base of people who like the the server that will be Wrath of the Lich King. But there might be a lot of people who like, I don't like the way my class plays. I'm leaving.
Yeah, really.
But it was when Death Knight was added, so.
Oh. Yeah, and I actually played a Death Knight.
Death Knight was cool.
Mostly just because it gave you automatic like level 60 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. But yeah, are they going to have WoW tokens?
Oh, I don't know.
That's kind of one of the things that kind of ruined it. It was like everyone can just buy their way to the top.
Well, it was also Wrath of the Lich King is when automated dungeon like matchmaking and stuff was added to the game too. Mm-hmm. And also like where map markers were, so you knew where to go to complete a quest. Before that, you were just on your own. Look it up, like maybe somebody took a picture and put it up online for you to know. But
yeah, well, that's when I had a mod.
Yeah.
Everyone I think had mods to do that for you and point you to the next location. I had a ton, like back in Burning Crusade days, there were just a ton of awesome mods, and then they ended up just kind of incorporating them into the game.
Well, apparently this is why it's going to be more old school than you remember, because it's actually going to be more old school than Wrath of the Lich King actually was. So those last two features I mentioned, which was the map markers and the automated matchmaking, will not be present in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. And this conclusion was in part to preserve what Blizzard describes as Classic's core values.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's probably a good reason some of this stuff was added to Wrath of the Lich King in the first place.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Do players not want that? I mean, I don't understand.
I don't either.
It's bizarre. I thought the core value was the players asked for it, so we're giving them what they want.
Yeah, like these were things that people desperately wanted back in the day. I remember what MMOs were like without quest markers. Actually, I don't even have to remember. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XI on an old school private server, and that game doesn't have any quest markers. You just kind of have to know where the fuck you're going. And there's no matchmaking for parties or anything like that, or dungeons in that game. And you can get that same experience if you go to either the other two classic servers that Blizzard already has up for WoW. They don't have quest markers or matchmaking. And sure, to some degree it's fine, but it's also a pain in the ass.
Well, I mean, I guess the Classic hasn't had that up till now.
No.
Either. So I guess people like it.
Well, that also gives me the question of, like, why continue it onto Wrath of the Lich King then, right? Because I think even if you're stripping Lich King of this stuff, it just sounds like in general, as we were even saying with Burning Crusade, which some people were willing to make the exception for because they really like the content of it, adding more expansions defeats the purpose of Classic inherently. Right? And if you're just trying to make servers where it's like, oh, yeah, but if people liked that version of the game, they could go back and play that version of the game, then why strip that expansion of the stuff that came with it, right? They'd be like individual time capsules of when they came out. But now this is no longer going to be a time capsule of when it came out.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
What they're doing. But they also announced a new 10.0 expansion.
Oh.
To the standard one. Have you seen that?
I forgot that people were playing anything but Classic.
Yeah, no, the normal World of Warcraft game. They did an announcement on Tuesday of the new 10.0 expansion, which is something Dragonflight or something. Wait. World Warcraft 10.0 announcement. I guess it's just called Dragonflight. And I don't know. I mean, I think for people who still like the game,
Yeah.
for the few people that still like the game, it looks pretty cool. They're basically introducing Dragonkin as a new race where you can transform, I think, transform into a dragon. Yeah.
That's something you'd expect them to have done like ages ago.
Yeah.
Especially riding off the popularity of like Skyrim. You'd think like, oh, apparently everybody wants to be Dovahkiin, you know? Shoot, 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons has a Dragonkin that you can play. Like,
Yeah.
Blizzard, you're a little late, as always.
Yeah, and I'm trying to bring it up, but I'm not finding it offhand. But yeah, there's a new class specifically for that race. That I think the race can only be one class.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
No, that makes sense sometimes, though. Like, I get it.
Yeah. But apparently you have to choose which Dragonflight you're a member of. And I don't know if you fight other people in other Dragonflights, because there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
But presumably you get different abilities depending on which one you want to join. And Asmongold said he's going to be black. He said, of course I'm going to be the black dragon.
Also, reading further, I found some bad news. I have to retract something I said.
Oh.
Unlike the release of Burning Crusade Classic, where Blizzard gave players the choice of keeping their characters on what is now called Classic Era servers or progressing them to the Burning Crusade, all current Burning Crusade Classic servers will be automatically converted into Wrath of the Lich King servers come the expansion's release. So there will still be the vanilla server, and then there will just be the expansion server for Classic. Which might be why they're not adding the matchmaking. So now they're creating a parallel timeline of what would WoW have been like if we just kept progressing the expansions down the path of Classic instead of adding all this stuff that they added over the years.
Interesting. So
that was a wise move.
They'll have vanilla.
Yeah.
And then just one other thing it's currently Burning Crusade. Now it's going to be Wrath of the Lich King.
And then they'll have all their other normal WoW servers.
Well, that makes it less complicated, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But it also means it's going to be less of a time capsule. Like I was saying before, right? There's not going to be one for each. Instead, this is, again, like a parallel timeline of like, what if we just kept WoW simple for reasons?
Yeah.
But still kept adding stuff to it. I don't know.
Weird. I don't know. They just, they just need to come up with a WoW 2 to start over.
Or, just let it sit. Give me Warcraft 4. That's never going to come first because I'd much rather play Warcraft 4. I won't play Warcraft 4 now. They couldn't make it good. I don't have faith in the people at the company to actually make the game good. Even if they made a WoW 2, it would be awful.
I loved StarCraft 2.
StarCraft 2 was good,
yeah. If it was still the company that made StarCraft 2, then
but how long ago did StarCraft 2 come out?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah. It's not the same company anymore. But
yeah,
it's funny. Are there new real-time strategy games at all anymore? That was such a popular genre.
Yeah, I think it's mostly indie.
Mm-hmm.
There, I mean, I know there's some main ones. I have no idea when the next Civilization game is ever going to come out, but apparently it is in the works. But that could be like a decade or two. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I think Age of Empires is... Wasn't there like a mobile version of it? I think as an actual console game, it's probably dead.
Yeah, they haven't come out with like a new one recently. All right, here we go. I found it. So the new race is called Drakthir. New class is called Evoker. And Evokers can be either healer or ranged DPS. And only Drakthirs can be Evokers.
Mm.
And there's some sort of new dragon. It says there's dragon riding flight system, but I thought that the Drakthir could turn into dragons. So
maybe
I don't.
So Evoker means they're using evocation magic, which typically makes me think they're summoning, but maybe they're just summoning their dragon form out.
Yeah. And there is some sort of five faction dragon flight system that you have to choose. But I don't quite understand how that works.
Yeah.
And a new area called the Dragon Isles.
Oh.
World of Warcraft. Who cares?
Yeah, I know. I wanna care, but I haven't been able to care about WoW for like a decade, maybe more. Like
yeah.
I would play the new one every so often, maybe, but I don't know. When did Mists come out? Was that like a decade ago now? I forget when Mist came out.
Mists
of Pandaria.
Oh. Man. Long time ago.
Yeah, Mists of Pandaria came out 2012. Yeah, a decade. Okay, yeah. So I haven't cared about WoW in like a decade.
Yeah, I did. Oh man, I did like almost all of the food quests, right? Because that was the big thing they added, was all these different new foods that you could make. I did almost all of them. Then I was like, why? This isn't fun. Why am I doing this?
It doesn't feel like it's been a decade, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Panda expansion. Last good expansion.
It feels like it's been longer. I would have guessed Mr. Pandaria came out like 15 years ago. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So Grum's Mark Kern.
Yes.
Tweeted out that and I don't know if this is true or not. This could have just been made up. But tweeted out that the total playtime of everyone in World of Warcraft since its inception is up to 6 million years, I think, what it said. And I tweeted that, I replied, yeah, 1 million of those was just fishing. Thanks a lot, Mark Kern. Since he added the fishing to the game.
Hey, you know what?
He liked my tweet.
Fishing is great. That's what I was actually doing that in Final Fantasy 14 recently. I was just sitting there leveling up fishing because I wanted to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Your MMO doesn't have fishing. You gotta solve that problem.
Definitely.
So there's been a new leak that GBA emulator is coming to Switch Online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you got all the good stories this week.
Well, from the last couple weeks, had it building up. So there's some games that they've already seen on there. Pokemon Pinball is on there, which is I really liked that game. Some of the like Mario Brothers Advance games, which is funny. Like the advanced versions are kind of their own games, but I think every single one of the games that got turned into Super Mario Brothers Advance, the original version is already available on Switch Online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they just released Sonic Pinball for the Sega Genesis
They did,
on
yeah.
the Switch.
Which is a very fun game because it's a Sonic Spinball, and
Right.
it doesn't exactly work like pinball. It does have pinball mechanics with the flippers and stuff, but when you're not in ball form, you actually can platform like normal, which you need to reset, because there's no way they give you enough room to have the momentum to do any significant platforming to solve the stages.
Yeah.
It's a very weird game. I remember playing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to play it again, but it's interesting.
Well, it's cool that they're so it's going to be Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance.
I think so, from what I can see. It just showing Game Boy software and Game Boy Advance emulation.
Mm. Awesome.
Some people are getting their hopes up because they see that Mother 3 is in the leaked library, but this is also the Japanese library, and there's nothing to say that the American and Japanese libraries are going to be the same, especially because that would involve having to have a translation of Mother 3 if you're going to put it in the American library. So I don't think there's going to be a localization for that.
If they were smart, there's already a translation, and it's great.
Yeah.
The fan translation. I'll just, throw them a few bucks and be like, "Can we just use this?" It's done.
Yeah.
I've played it. It's great.
And so aside from that, these are the titles that the leak has dropped, which are Astro Boy Omega Factor, Card Battler Joe, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow and Circle of the Moon, Choo Choo Rocket, Drill Dozer, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Game & Watch Gallery 4, Golden Sun and The Lost Age, so both of them, Gunstar Superheroes, Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, which is one I actually enjoy, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Koro Koro Puzzle Happy Penichu, Kuru Kuru Kurugen, Lufia, The Ruins of Lore, Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, which everyone should play. Of all the games on the list right there, that is one people should play. That's probably one of the best RPGs ever made. Mario Golf Advance Tour, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario Party Advance, which is probably the worst Mario Party, Mario Tennis Power Tour, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mega Man Battle Network 5 Team Proto Man and Metal Man Battle Network 2, Mega Man 03, Metroid Fusion, another that people should play, Metroid Zero Mission, where you should start your journey in Metroid if you haven't already, Driller 2, Ninja 5-0, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Robot Tyson Original Generation, Tactics Ogre, The Knights of Lotus, which we talked about recently, Wario Land 4, WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games, Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3, and The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap.
I was just gonna say, where's Minish Cap?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Was that a Game Boy Advance game?
Yes.
Okay,
Made by Capcom.
I know.
Yeah. Very, very interesting that one of, like several Game Boy Advance games, one of the best in the series was made by another company.
Yeah, didn't they make Oracle, the Oracle games? Oracle of Ages?
I do not
Oracle
recall.
Season? That's how they did. Well, that would be awesome. I mean, that would add a lot of value to that subscription. That's for sure.
I think they need to,
Yeah.
right? Because the subscription is costing more for expanded content, so you need to add more to that expansion pass to actually make it valuable. But also when you're looking at what Microsoft is doing, and I guess Sony too, but theirs is just like a lesser version of what Microsoft is doing. You kind of need to sweeten the deal if you want people to pay for the premium pass.
Yeah. I was trying to remember what they recently. I guess it was those Genesis games. I don't know.
Well, they also added another thing. They added a couple Genesis games, right, including Pinball, but they also gave you the expansion for Splatoon 2 as part of the expansion pass. So if you didn't already have it, it was added.
When did they do that?
Just when they added the new Genesis stuff.
Like this week? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. I gotta go play Splatoon. I never bought the expansion, and I was like,
yeah, it was one of the stories I didn't bring up, but it was there.
Oh my god. The one with the octolings or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let me go pull that up.
I gotta go play Splatoon. It's like there's a whole single player
Yep.
like story mode.
This is right here. Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion DLC added as Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack benefit.
How did I miss that?
You slept through it.
I guess. Been working too hard, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They need to add the Sword and Shield DLC because I'm sure as hell not paying for that either. They're paying more for that.
Maybe they will. I feel like more, which that is older at this point, so maybe by the time the next game is ready to come out, they'll probably do it. But I do feel like they're going to pick up more of the old DLC packages. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next thing they announce is, with 2 on the way, Breath of the Wild 1 DLCs are just going to be part of the Season 1 and 2 will be part of the expansion pack. I think if I were to make a guess, that would probably be one of the next ones they add to it.
Yeah.
Just
hey,
encourage you to play through the game all the way before the new one comes out.
Oh, you'll think they'll add the Breath of the Wild 1?
Yeah, I'm assuming that they'll probably add the 1 coming up on 2 coming out, right? Like, as we get closer, they'll probably do that. Because it's convenient. You think Breath of the Wild 1, they've probably sold all of the DLC they expect to sell for Breath of the Wild 1. So if you're already playing for the expansion pack, those are all the types of DLCs I would assume would start getting added. The Animal Crossing one being new, I think they just did that as a favor of good faith, right? But then we see like the Splatoon 2 expansion coming out, and that's older at this point already. I think they're just going to start backtracking and picking up other stuff.
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence, but they also announced the Splatoon 3 release date.
Yes.
Of September 9th. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
so that's
because
September 9th
it's coming up, right? Talking about this, this year. So they released this into the expansion pass after showing you this year very soon. Splatoon 3 is coming up, so they want you to play through this before 3 comes out. Yeah. I think they might do the same thing with Breath of the Wild as we get closer to that release. Yeah,
as I was going to say, when they announce the release date.
Yeah,
of Breath of the Wild 2.
And we might start seeing this for a few other older games in similar circumstances as things progress. So maybe the Sword and Shield ones might get added to the expansion pass as we get closer to the new Pokemon game coming out.
Maybe. Cool.
And I'm not against that. That's fine. Especially some things they're just going to start adding to the expansion pass anyway. Like how Animal Crossing was when it was new. So we'll see.
Yeah. Man, I did miss a lot of stories here.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe because I was suspended from Twitter for a day. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, see, there's a whole new Splatoon 3 gameplay trailer released like yesterday. So cool. You want me to play it?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I like playing gameplay footage. Here we go.
Yeah, I didn't have too much to say on it because it didn't really show me anything more than what I got from the first trailer.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what they're showing us because I haven't been paying too close attention to.
I am
this Splatoon 3 news.
far more likely to play this though, like as a game. I don't know if they have to sell it to me so much because I kind of mostly skip 2, right? And it's kind of like one of those games where it's like playing Call of Duty. You don't want to play every single release, but if you skip one every so often, it feels like there's more of a jump between releases.
Yeah.
And skipping 2, this feels like a huge jump from 1 to 3.
Oh yeah. I mean, 2 is a pretty big jump. So yeah, I think you'll get a lot out of this one. Splatted taco truck.
Taco truck.
I don't know why it's slowing down.
I don't know.
Is that the video slowing down, or is that just how it's showing?
I honestly could not tell you.
It's a weird video player.
All I know is the that little field that was sitting there, that sphere, reminded me of the Internet Explorer icon. The old one.
Oh. Like the little ball that showed up?
Yeah. Or what was that other company? That Global Link icon.
Yeah, in 2 they introduced these secondary weapons, these bombs and things that you can throw out in addition to your primary weapon, and it looks like they've added more of those. Some things that do like area of effect, and
the tethering is pretty cool.
Where you can zoom to another player, or an object. Yeah, there was some limited stuff with that in 2 on certain battlefields where you could sort of zoom from one place to another, but it was only in certain ones. And but they added the ability to zoom like directly to another player, which is kind of cool. Looks like this is just a battle. Is there any more interesting footage?
Probably not. I think they're just showing off things. Like my problem with I didn't opt out just because it didn't look like there wasn't enough. It didn't look like there was enough to in comparison to all the other new games I wanted to play. Right? Like if there weren't as many other games and I had the spare money, I probably would have just went into Splatoon 2 anyway.
Well, if if you're interested, it looks like you're going to get a lot out of
3. I've been thinking of 3 in general.
Yeah. So, I'm glad they're bringing back the what's it called? The salmon battles or whatever they're called.
The salmon run.
Salmon run, yeah.
Which was the coolest thing about 2. Like, I watched a lot of people play those, and like, if there's anything that's going to get me to play the game, it's probably this.
Yeah. You kind of fight against these boss creatures that keep coming out of the water. And those are fun. I don't know why I didn't play 2 as much as I should have. Whenever I play it, I have a lot of fun.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just have to be in the mood.
Well, you know what I'm probably going to be in the mood for? Assuming that these reports are true. So, apparently Sega has 2 super games projects in development right now. 2 revivals from Dreamcast era classics. And both of them were great games that were underserviced. One of them actually just didn't sell that well. The other, I think there was complications. But with a reboot, they might do great. And they are Crazy Taxi, which was an amazing game, and Jet Set Radio, which is actually probably my favorite Dreamcast game.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And there are reports that big budget reboots of them might be in the works.
I might have been thinking of a different game.
So Jet Set Radio is the musically driven game, because the radio was on, where you guys were underground, like, punk artists who were doing advertisement for a pirate radio station and graffitiing things. And it was kind of just like a skating game.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun. Great aesthetic. I loved the whole super saturated, cell shaded, sort of like stylized world where I'm trying to describe it because it's cyber pop, I guess, sort of. It's supposed to be punk. It's very punk, but it doesn't look punk because of how super bright and colorful it is. And it takes place in a city where all the music is kind of like the music you want is kind of forbidden, right?
Yeah.
You're like these punk rock guys, and there's a pirate radio, and you're actually trying to like get the word out on it. That's like the whole premise of the game.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Crazy Taxi, which was just like an arcade game. You were driving a taxi around in like San Francisco, and because of the crazy hills and stuff and the extreme physics, you were like jumping up and down and trying to find like alternate routes to cut the time because you were trying to get them there as fast as possible, which sounds the opposite of what a taxi actually wants, because the longer they're in the cab, the more money they're making. I don't think the people who made this game understand how taxi services work. But
yeah. But you know, it's weird. So I'm looking at this thing that Sony put together as far as, you know, bringing back dormant IPs.
Yeah.
The thing I was thinking of when you said Jet Set Radio is listed here. It's Space Channel 5.
Space Channel 5 was another Sega one. They did kind of revive somewhat with VR.
Mm-hmm.
But it was awful. So there was Space Channel 5 VR. It was maybe 45 minutes long total. Now, you could play through the Space Channel 5 episode 1 and 2, because that's basically all it was. Space Channel 5 and Space Channel 5 Part 2. Both of them, maybe hour and a half-ish at most. If you did everything right the first time, you could do it in 45 minutes. But there's a lot of replay value to it and stuff like that. This one was like 45 minutes with the replay value.
Yeah.
There was some notable changes. Obviously, they couldn't have Michael Jackson in it, who was in Space Channel 5 Part 1 and 2 as Space Michael, who is generally the same Michael Jackson. He voiced himself in the game, too, because he had a tight relationship with Sega. And he played himself after he had saved the world 500 years ago and had been on, like, ice for those 500 years, and then he came back. And now he works for the news station that you work for, too. And you have to save Space Michael, and he helps you out later on. But they brought this back, and they had to replace him, right? They need another celebrity, so they replaced him with Hatsune Miku.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird that I thought of that game when you said Jet Set Radio. I was like, oh, is that Space Channel 5?
Yeah, I mean, it's Dreamcast era. A lot of these games were very, very closely related. They're very associated with each other. You can actually play Space Channel Part 1 and 2 on Steam. They're available.
Oh.
Very cheap, too. I think I have both of them.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't
they're
miss
rhythm
that.
games. Yeah.
Okay. They mentioned Altered Beast too.
Would I be interested in an Altered Beast reboot? I'm trying to think.
The original game was very basic.
Yeah, but you have to think about the time that game came out too, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they made it, it depends on how if they were to remake it or do a new one. It would have to be
more interested in an Altered Beast movie or cartoon show than I would be in a reboot for a game.
Maybe.
Rise from your grave.
They'd have to make it into a more interesting sort of beat 'em up or something. Because it was very just go through the level, pick up the 3 little upgrade things, and then beat the boss, and that was it. Yeah, which I loved at the time.
Now, maybe if they made it like Hulk Ultimate Destruction type game in Ruins, like you're actually in the same type of environments, but like as the normal person, you're really good at fighting the people, but you can't like really destroy things in the environment. And then with each upgrade, like your destructive capacity gets higher and you just start plowing through the level by the end. So the whole point is to try to ramp up to the upgrade as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I could see that bit working. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to rethink it all from scratch, I think.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It looks like they are pretty dedicated still to Phantasy Star Online.
Well, it makes them a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, and they don't even have to charge a subscription for it. Because they understand that people just want aesthetics. They just want fashion that they can wear. So it's like, no, you can play the game for free, because we know plenty of people are going to throw enough money at us.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what? You want a Sonic hat? Here you go. Here's a Sonic hat. That'll be $5.
Streets of Rage, Knights.
Knights would be an interesting one to come back.
I recently watched a video about Knights and how there was some missing boss that got cut from the game, and people are just fascinated by it. It looked like it was going to be like a dark Link kind of thing, a dark version of Knight, that ended up getting cut.
I want my Street Punk Underground Turf Wars back. That's all I want. Which is why I'm kind of excited for the spiritual successor that's been being made for PC and Switch for a long time, which is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Which, I mean, it looks just like Jet Set. But if I can get an actual Jet Set back, I'd rather play an actual Jet Set. I just have one demand. If you bring back Jet Set, the Nog must come back with it. And for people who don't know, that's the actual musician, the guy who composed all the music for Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
Which is, Hideki Nog something. Everybody calls him the Nog. I can't remember his last name. I follow him on Twitter, though, here. Naganuma, that's it. Hideki Naganuma. The dude's music is great. He did music for Jet Set. He did music for Sonic Rush as well, for a few different games. Funny guy, really good musical sense. And you can't have Jet Set without him, because it wouldn't be the same without his music. It's my demand. It's my one demand, Sega. Not that you have to listen to me, but it is my one demand. So, depressing
Sounds
news.
reasonable.
I don't know if you missed this. So, a little while back, Microsoft said that they were working on an in-game ads program that would be implemented by the end of the year. Right, which I think is awful if you did done in an invasive way. There are non-invasive ways you could do ads. Some phone games do it where it's like, listen, you don't have to watch the ad, but if you do, here's some in-game currency for watching it, right? There are ways you could do that. but I think Microsoft is trying to work this into their subscription program or whatever, their streaming stuff. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen all the details on it. Sony is also planning an in-game ads program similar to Xbox's.
In like console games?
Yeah. So Sony's begun to working on a plan to place ads inside PlayStation games through a software developer program. And I haven't looked too much into it, but I don't like the idea of putting ads in video games outside of a few exceptions where it could work.
Yeah. Ads are for mobile games.
I know. And Microsoft been working on it too, where they're trying to get ads into Xbox games. And if all goes according to plan, Sony will reportedly launch its new effort by the end of 2022 and sell advertising space for its own PlayStation games through a private marketplace. The goal of the project is for ads to look like they've been organically inserted into a game, much like a digital billboard in a sports stadium, which I guess isn't the end of the world. Maybe like you'll see little commercials on the TVs in shops or something. With the way AI works now, it wouldn't be too hard to like put in all the things that could run for an ad and then it get like streamed into the game while you're connected to the internet or whatever.
Yeah, that would be interesting if like, billboards in Cyberpunk or something showed different things.
Yeah.
Real ads. I don't know. As long as you didn't have to look at them.
Yeah. It's a little unsettling when companies go this route. Like, I know games are getting more expensive, so they're trying to make up the costs in other departments. And maybe this would be like an opt-in program, right? Because it's supposed to be for developers. They're doing it for a developer space. So if it ends up helping the developer end where they could cut a deal with PlayStation, who, much like Google, would now be an advertising company, they could get their cut from it, and PlayStation gets their tiny cut, and it will help supplement the cost of games. That's not the end of the world. I just remember when Final Fantasy 15 started putting advertisements. They literally have cup noodles in their game. And Coleman sponsored camping equipment. Like, if you go to the equipment at the campsite, it says Coleman on it.
Yeah. Yeah, like how are they going to put advertising into a Elden Ring or, Skyrim or Zelda or something? It's like, well...
Like, I get Grand Theft Auto. That works.
Yeah. It isn't, paying for the game, having DLC... Those things aren't enough. Come on.
No, the problem is that they just keep making games more ridiculous than they used to be. Like, they're putting more jobs into a game, so it's like they've got 50 people over there just making textures at high resolution that is going to go into the game because they've got like thousands of textures now for no reason. And like it's just all these jobs to make the games look as good as possible and be as big as possible instead of focusing on a tight experience that is worth the money that people are paying for it.
Yeah. I guess this is probably only going to probably just affect the AAA games that I would like to play anyway. So it's like,
And in fact, more than anything, I think it'll probably work in tandem with the way Epic's been going. Have you actually been looking at the details of Unreal Engine 5? Which we were going to talk about. We didn't talk about too much about it since the main details came out the first episode that we missed recently. So between like MetaHuman and a bunch of the assets, they're basically just trying to make it easier for smaller companies to plug and play things as much as possible. A lot of engines are doing that, right? So yeah, you can make your asset, plug them in. We have some pre-made assets you can use too, plug them in, the licensing agreements. Even as like an indie developer, until you break a certain threshold of funds, you don't even have to give Epic a cut, right? And it almost looks like everything they're doing is trying to make it easier for people to make games like The Last of Us, or just like, I wouldn't necessarily use the word walking simulator, but bare bone mechanic, narrative-driven games, right? They're trying to just get it to where people can pump those out. And you take stuff like that in conjunction with these type of advertising programs that Xbox and Sony are trying to get out, then you're just going to start having the TV equivalent of video games.
Yep.
And I kind of see the AAA industry, with few exception, and the wannabe AAA industry, or like indie devs who now have the ability to try to be like that, going in that direction, at least for a while. It's going to be a trend that we see. Which means it's going to be the equivalent of, remember shovelware on the Wii? How much shovelware was just made for the Wii? That's going to be the modern generation of that, or last generation's actual just walking simulators, where everything was trying to be like the Stanley Parable, but the Stanley Parable was started out as like a satirical response to all of those, and ended up actually being a pretty cool interactive experience.
Yeah, it's like, in Hollywood, like all these top tier movies that are obviously filmed in the most expensive way, and they're just, the production qualities of any given movie at a movie theater are going to be through the roof, and they cost millions and millions of dollars to make, but the movie itself is shit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't ever want to watch it, because it's like they didn't put any. They have terrible writers, and they inject all this woke bullshit and blah blah blah. But yeah, I feel like games are going that way. At least the AAA space. It's like, oh yeah, they're beautiful and they're fantastic, and millions of textures. And
they're so big, you can walk around forever.
4K and 8K and all this stuff. But it's like, who would ever want to play this shit?
Spend 400 hours in the game doing nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Oh well. And I'm sitting here like, I want to play Dragon Quest again.
I want to play the new Kirby game. The new Kirby game looks fun.
Yeah. It does. I watched it a little bit. I watched someone eat a giant traffic cone.
And become the traffic cone.
Yeah. That's a vor simulator.
Yeah. I want to watch Kirby just eat a nuclear bomb.
That's right.
Yeah, I have become death.
Blow up those Waddle Dees.
Yeah.
That's and in the meantime, what's this game called? I can never remember the name of it. Vampire Assassins or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like
you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just like little sprites and stuff. It's like the most popular game ever. It's $3 on Steam, and Asmongold's playing it while 150,000 people watch him. That's the future of games. Vampire Assassins.
That's the past of games.
Yeah. But apparently the present as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the new, it's the new what's the Among Us or Fall Guys is like this viral shitty game that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Those are the best
That's
games.
what I need to do. Yeah. Need to make a silly little game that, get streamers to play it.
Well, first you got to start with a mechanic and be like, this is fun. How can I build a game around this mechanic?
Yeah.
Which I feel is like how most games used to be in the past for the most part, right? Like,
Yeah.
even classic platformers. Okay, we got the guy running and jumping. Cool. How can we build a game around a guy running and jumping? Well, we put these platforms here. It makes it more difficult to run and jump. Now these enemies are coming. You have to like run and jump over them. Well, if you also jump on them, you can get rid of the enemy. It's like everything just starts compounding from there. It's like, boom, we got Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's how they did it at Nintendo.
Yeah, you focus on that, you make a fun game.
When are we starting our game, Metal? When are we going to get going?
I don't know. When do you want to start?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe soon.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
It's always tomorrow.
It's always, yeah. It was like earlier last week or whatever. My brother and I, we were going up to McDonald's, midnight snack run, right? And he turns to me in the drive-thru, and he's like, "Hey, you know, if we start right now, by the time we hit Christmas, we could have our Christmas album done." Every single year, we have this exact same conversation. It never happens. It's like, yeah, you know, if we start right now, we could have a Christmas album done.
Like original songs or covers?
Yeah, a mix. Original songs and covers, like most Christmas albums. It's like, yeah, you know, if we start right now, we could have a Christmas album done by December. Like, it could happen.
All right.
Every year we have this conversation, though. It never happens.
Get going, man.
But yeah, there's been our hour and a half. Even though we're late, you did get a show today, so.
And thanks for showing up, Fitzjozo.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If you're watching now or in the future, if you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody else who might like it. And if you really enjoy the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. The money has already been taken out of my account for this month's hosting fees. But, you know, you can always compensate me back if you want to help out. It's all if you want to help out. We're not trying to pressure you, but I am. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.